Life is a journey full of twists, turns, and unexpected detours. Sometimes it feels like everything is falling into place, and other times it feels like everything is falling apart. But what if, in both moments, the beautiful and the broken, there was a greater purpose at work? What if every delay, every disappointment, every closed door was actually leading you to exactly where you were meant to be? It's easy to trust when life rarely moves in a straight line. It weaves, it shifts, it surprises us in ways we never saw coming. We set our expectations, map out our perfect plans, and convince ourselves that we know exactly how things should unfold. And then life happens. Suddenly we find ourselves in places we never intended to go, facing challenges we never asked for, and wondering how we ended up so far from where we thought we should be. But what if the detours aren't distractions? What if they are direction? What if the moments that feel like chaos are actually the very moments shaping us for something greater? We are so quick to label experiences as good or bad, as if we have the full picture. But the truth is, what feels like a setback today might be the very thing that prepares us for what's coming next. Sometimes the things that feel like obstacles are actually opportunities wrapped in discomfort. There's a purpose in every unexpected turn, even if we can't see it in the moment. We don't always get clarity in real time, and that's the hardest part, walking through uncertainty without knowing exactly where we're headed. But growth happens in that uncertainty. Strength is built in the waiting. And every time we find ourselves in a place we didn't plan for, we have a choice: resist it or trust it. What if, instead of fighting the uncertainty, we leaned into it? What if we stopped trying to control every outcome and started believing that even the detours are part of the plan? The moments that test us are the moments that transform us. The unexpected twists are not proof that something has gone wrong. They are proof that something greater is unfolding. Even when we can't see the full picture, even when we don't understand why things are happening the way they are, there is a process at work shaping us, stretching us, and leading us exactly where we are meant to be. Pain has a way of making us question everything. When things fall apart, when the doors slam shut, when we find ourselves standing in the wreckage of what we thought life was supposed to be, it's easy to wonder if we've been forgotten. We start asking, why me? Why this? Why now? But maybe the better question is, what is this teaching me? How is this shaping me? What if this moment isn't here to break me, but to build me? We tend to think that struggle means we're off track, that difficulty is a sign we've taken the wrong road. But what if struggle is the road? What if the very thing you're trying to run from is actually the thing that's refining you? Growth doesn't happen in comfort. Strength isn't built in easy seasons. And transformation, real transformation, only happens when we walk through the fire and come out on the other side, not burned, but forged into something stronger. Think about the hardest moments of your life, the moments that shook you, stretched you, brought you to your knees. Now think about who you became because of them. You are not the same person you were before. You are wiser, you are stronger, you carry lessons you didn't have before. The things that once felt like they were breaking you were actually shaping you. That kind of wisdom doesn't come from smooth roads, it comes from the rough terrain, the uphill climbs, the nights when you thought you wouldn't make it through. So maybe the obstacles aren't there to stop you. Maybe they're there to prepare you. Maybe what feels like a delay is actually a divine setup, giving you the strength, resilience, and wisdom you'll need for what's ahead. Maybe the very thing you're questioning today will one day be the thing you look back on and say, that was where I found my strength. Because life isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about letting those challenges shape you into the person you were always meant to become. Rejection stings. It shakes our confidence, makes us question our worth, and leaves us wondering if we'll ever get where we want to go. A closed door feels like failure. like a definitive no from life itself. But what if rejection isn't the end of the road? What if it's a course correction? What if the very thing you're mourning right now is actually making space for something better? We spend so much of our lives trying to force open doors that were never meant for us. We tie our happiness to outcomes, believing that if we could just get that job, that relationship, that opportunity, everything would fall into place. And when it doesn't happen, we convince ourselves that we've lost something vital. But here's the truth. Closed doors are not punishment. They are protection. They are redirect. They are the divine way of saying, not here, not yet. I have something better. Think about the moments when life didn't go according to your plan, the relationships that didn't last, the job offers that never came, the dreams that crumbled before they even had a chance to begin. At the time, it felt like devastation. But now, looking back, can you see it? Can you see how those disappointments were actually guiding you? How they led you to places, people, and opportunities that were even greater than what you had asked for? We are so quick to grieve what didn't happen that we sometimes forget to trust what is happening. Every no is clearing the way for a better yes. Every door that closes is redirecting you to something more aligned with who you are meant to be. And when you stop seeing rejection as a loss and start seeing it as guidance, everything shifts. Because in the moment when you think life is falling apart, it is actually falling into place. Waiting is hard. It's uncomfortable, uncertain, and often feels like wasted time. We live in a world that tells us everything should happen instantly: success, love, healing, clarity. And when it doesn't, we start to question if we're doing something wrong. We wonder if we've been forgotten, if we missed our chance, if life is passing us by while we sit in the in-between, waiting for something to change. But what if waiting isn't empty space? What if it's the place where the most important work is happening? We think of waiting as stillness, but beneath the surface, something is shifting. Just because you don't see movement doesn't mean nothing is happening. Timing is not about delay, it's about preparation. If something isn't happening yet, there's a reason. Maybe you're not ready for it. Maybe it's not ready for you. Maybe there are pieces falling into place that you can't see yet. Think about the moments in your life when you wanted something so badly, but it didn't come when you expected it. And then later, when it finally arrived, you realized why you had to wait. You had to grow, you had to heal, you had to become the person who could step into that opportunity fully prepared. Because if you had received it too soon, it might have slipped through your hands. The right thing at the wrong time can still be the wrong thing. Patience isn't about passively sitting back and hoping for something to change. It's about trusting that the unseen work is just as important as what we can see. It's about believing that delays are not denials, that every moment of waiting is serving a purpose. And when the time is right, when you are ready, when the pieces have come together in ways you never could have orchestrated on your own, everything will align exactly as it was meant to. Because what is meant for you will not pass you by. It will arrive at the perfect time. Every experience, every high, every low, every unexpected turn is shaping you in ways you may not even realize. We move through life believing that only the big moments matter, that success is measured by achievements and milestones. But what if the real transformation happens in the spaces in between? What if the quiet, difficult, seemingly ordinary moments are the ones that are doing the deepest work within us? We are always looking for meaning in the good times, in the victories, in the moments where everything feels aligned. But meaning is also found in the struggle, in the uncertainty, in the days when you wonder if anything is working in your favor. The pain you've endured, the obstacles you've faced, the heartbreaks you never thought you'd heal from. None of it was wasted. Even the moments that broke you were shaping you, making you wiser, stronger, more resilient. It's easy to look back and connect the dots to see how every challenge led to growth, how every disappointment redirected you towards something better. But in the moment, it's harder to trust that process. It's difficult to believe that the things that feel like setbacks are actually setups for something greater. The lessons we learn in the toughest seasons are often the ones that equip us for the future we've been preparing for all along. You are not just going through life, you are being shaped by it. Every experience is adding something to you, refining you, making you into the person you are meant to be. And when you start to see every moment, every struggle, every detour as part of a bigger story, you realize that nothing is random, nothing is wasted. Every piece, especially the hard ones, are part of something greater unfolding. And one day you'll look back and see that even the moments that felt like they were breaking you were actually building you into exactly who you were always meant to become. There will be moments in life when nothing makes sense, when the plans you carefully crafted unravel, when the road ahead disappears into uncertainty, when you're left wondering why things are happening the way they are. In those moments, doubt creeps in, the need for control kicks into overdrive. You start searching for answers, grasping for certainty, trying to make sense of something that wasn't meant to be understood yet. But what if not knowing is part of the plan? What if the confusion, the waiting, the feeling of being in the dark is exactly where you're supposed to be? We crave clarity because we believe that knowing will give us security. But real security doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from trusting that even when we don't understand, something greater is unfolding. Think about a time in your life when things didn't go as expected. Maybe you lost an opportunity you thought was meant for you. Maybe you found yourself in a season of heartbreak, disappointment, or uncertainty. In the moment, it felt unfair, like a mistake, but then later, maybe months or even years down the road, you looked back and realized that what once felt like an ending was actually a beginning. That the thing you so desperately wanted wasn't what you truly needed. That something far better was waiting for you on the other side of the unknown. Trust isn't about having proof. It's about believing in the process even when you can't see the outcome. It's about surrendering the need to have it all figured out and leaning into the uncertainty with faith that things are unfolding exactly as they should. The truth is, you're not lost. You're not off track. You are exactly where you need to be, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. And one day, what seems unclear in this moment will make perfect sense, because every piece, every unexpected turn, every delay, every unanswered question is leading you somewhere you were always meant to go. Uncertainty is uncomfortable. It makes us restless, searching for something solid to hold on to. We want guarantees, a clear map, a step-by-step plan that reassures us we're on the right path. But life doesn't work that way. Growth doesn't happen in certainty. It happens in the spaces where we don't have all the answers. It happens in the moments where we are forced to let go of control and trust that something greater is unfolding, even when we can't see it yet. Think about the times when life has pushed you into the unknown. Maybe it was a job that ended before you were ready, a relationship that fell apart when you thought it would last, a season of transition that left you feeling unsteady. In the middle of it, all you wanted was clarity, a sign that things would work out. But looking back, you can see that the discomfort wasn't a punishment. It was a transformation. You weren't just waiting for change to happen. You were becoming the person who could step into the next chapter fully prepared. We resist uncertainty because it feels like losing control, but in reality, it's where we learn to trust. It's where we discover our strength. It's where we realize that not knowing the next step doesn't mean we're lost. It means we're being led. Every great story has a season of uncertainty, a moment when the main character doesn't know how things will turn out. But that's where resilience is built. That's where courage is found. That's where we stop relying on our plans and start believing that even in the unknown, we are exactly where we need to be. So if you find yourself in the middle of uncertainty right now, take a breath. You are not forgotten. You are not failing. You are growing in ways you can't yet see. And one day you'll look back on this season, not with fear, but with gratitude, because it was here in the midst of the unknown that you became everything you were meant to be. Right now, in this moment, you are exactly where you need to be. Even if it doesn't feel like it, even if you're questioning everything, even if you wish you were somewhere else, further ahead, more certain, more successful, more in control, there is a reason for where you are. And just because you can't see the full picture yet doesn't mean it isn't being painted. We spend so much of our lives chasing the next thing, the next goal, the next achievement, the next season that we think will finally make us feel whole. But what if the life you're waiting for isn't ahead of you? It's here. What if this season, this moment, even with all its uncertainties and imperfections, is part of a greater plan that is unfolding exactly as it should? We tell ourselves that we'll feel fulfilled when we reach a certain point, but then we get there and realize that we're already looking for the next thing. What if, instead of striving, we started trusting? There's a reason you're here. Even the delays, even the detours, even the moments when you feel stuck are part of something greater. You may not see the purpose now, but one day you will. You'll look back and realize that what felt like a pause was actually preparation. What felt like a setback was really setting you up for something better. What felt like waiting was actually working in your favor. It's easy to believe that life is happening to us, that we're just trying to survive each day until we get to where we think we're supposed to be. But what if life is happening for us? What if every moment, even this one, is shaping us, preparing us, leading us exactly where we're meant to go? You are not behind. You are not lost. You are in the middle of something extraordinary, something you won't fully understand until you look back and see that every step, even the ones that didn't make sense, were always part of a bigger, more beautiful story. Even in your darkest moments, even when you feel like nothing is working in your favor, something greater is at work. It's easy to trust when life is going according to plan, when things fall into place effortlessly, when the road ahead is clear. But real faith, real trust happens in the moments when nothing makes sense. When you're standing in the middle of uncertainty, when doors keep closing, when the weight of the unknown feels unbearable, that's when you have a choice. You can believe that life is random and unfair, or you can choose to believe that even this messy, uncertain, painful moment is part of something unfolding for your good. Think about the times when life didn't go as expected, the heartbreaks, the setbacks, the disappointments. In those moments, you couldn't see the purpose. But now looking back, can you see how those very moments shaped you, how they redirected you, how they strengthened you in ways you never expected? That wasn't coincidence. That was something greater at work. We tend to think that struggles mean we are alone, that silence means nothing is happening, but silence is never empty. Waiting is never wasted. Even when you feel unseen, unheard, uncertain, things are shifting. The right opportunities, the right people, the right moments are aligning in ways you cannot yet see. Just because you don't have the answers now doesn't mean they aren't coming. Just because you can't see the bigger picture yet doesn't mean it isn't being created. One day you will look back and realize that even in your hardest moments, you were being guided, that even in your uncertainty, you were being prepared, that even when it felt like life was breaking you, it was actually building you. And when that day comes, you won't just see how the plan unfolded, you'll see how all along it was leading you somewhere greater than you ever imagined. Life rarely unfolds the way we expect it to. The paths we thought would be straight take unexpected turns. The things we were sure would last sometimes slip through our fingers. The timing we hoped for often doesn't align with reality. And yet, when we look back, we can see that every twist, every delay, every closed door was part of something bigger, something we couldn't see in the moment, but was shaping us in ways we never expected. Right now, you may be in a season of uncertainty, waiting for answers, longing for clarity, wondering why things aren't happening the way you thought they would. It's tempting to believe that delays mean denial, that obstacles mean we're off track, that struggle means we've been forgotten. But what if the very things you're questioning today are the things that are leading you exactly where you're meant to be? What if every challenge, every setback, every unanswered prayer is actually a step towards something greater? You are not lost. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are in the middle of a story that is still being written. And just because you don't know the ending yet doesn't mean it won't be beautiful. Trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense. Have faith in the timing, even when it feels frustrating. Keep moving forward, even when you can't see the full picture. One day, you'll look back and realize that everything, every disappointment, every unexpected turn, every unanswered question was leading you somewhere extraordinary. So keep going, keep believing, keep trusting, because life is not just happening to you, it's happening for you. And what is unfolding right now, even in the uncertainty, is something far greater than you could have ever imagined.